All right, y'all. Good evening. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. 6 o'clock in the Central Time Zone, which is now a thing. 4 p.m. on the West. And 7 a.m. Wednesday in Bangkok, Thailand. Welcome to GrowedUpGeek Gaming and our flagship long-term campaign, Twilight, Malediction, a Rime of the Frostmaiden. We are back. I am your host and Dungeon Master, Manny, at GrowedUpGeek on your social medias, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. New videos uploaded to YouTube Mondays and Tuesday mornings. If you like what we do here, give us a sub, follow, high five, backslap, thumbs up, whatever it is that shows you appreciate us on your platform of choice. We are back, episode 31. We had a week off last week because my job is busy because people are getting married once again. And we didn't get to follow up on probably one of our crazier episodes in which we had quite the turn from character growth, I guess is how you'd call it. Before we get into that, we're going to pick up basically right where we left off in that kind of tense moment. Before we do that, as always, we will meet our amazing players. We'll do a quick recap, and then we will jump right into this great episode. Let us start with our newly relocated time zone man, our lizard folk who's dealing with some kind of emotional deals about him having to potentially turn on his informal patron. Tenta, tell us about Jaatuuli.
I'm Tenta, and I don't own a hairbrush right now, so sorry about that, everybody. I'm Jaatuuli. I am a lizard folk worshiper of Cryovane, and very large lizard that eats lots of faces and carries 2 axes and is the party's barbarian.
And is particularly fond of drow flesh, apparently. All right. Let us move down to our always optimistic artificer, who also has a little moment of his own coming up. We'll get to that at a long rest, and we'll see. In the meantime, Landon, tell us about Orryn, potentially for the last time in case your thing doesn't go well.
Orryn is a rock gnome artificer. Hopefully this is not the last time, but as Manny said, it is potentially a bad day for Orryn. Not guaranteed, but potentially. He loves adventure. He came to the he came here specifically to find his friend Sindri, who came here on behalf of the people who sent us. He went to Silvery Moon with Orryn. Sorry, this isn't the best one. It's been too long since we've had this. But Orryn's ready for adventure. He's very concerned about Kelroth, and he's kind of sad, actually, that Villain was killed. He, while he knew Villain was a bad guy, he kind of liked her just because he was used to people like that at Silvermoon. But
wizards are assholes in your life. Got it. Every wizard I've known's been an asshole, so she wasn't that bad.
Exactly.
All right, let us go to the east coast of the overlay, up in the northeast, basically where he's from. Lewis, tell us about Baldr the monk.
I'm Lewis, playing Baldr this evening, who is a Court Azamar Way of the Living Weapon monk from the Eberron setting, and who is basically taken back by the party members' change in attitude. One of those things, basically, preached a certain way and basically led us to believe a certain thing, and still kind of dealing with that.
We were all taken aback. The screenshot of everybody's reaction to when it happened was great. All right, let's move on to, instead of talking about it in the abstract, we will let kind of the character of the moment, kind of set the scene. We'll do a quick recap, and then we're absolutely going to pick up basically like exactly where we left off last week. So, Dustin, tell us about Kelroth and kind of what's going on right now.
I'm Dustin. I play Kelroth. He is a half-elf cleric of the life domain, and he's a pacifist. He went against his code, if you will, and did some bad things to a person he didn't like. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. The best way to go about this is just see what happens.
All right.
Maybe I'll die.
Like I said, I'm dying to know what's going to happen because last week was, or 2 weeks ago was very kind of like, wait, what? All right, so that is our amazing cast. Once again, host and Dungeon Master Manny. I'll be playing everybody else, including an inanimate object, which is always fun. So 2 weeks ago, the party once again still kind of split. The Jaatuuli ran into everybody's good friend, former good friend, Valin Harple, who, you know, kind of a bygones be bygones speech, brought the Axe Beaks back and set off to reunite Jaatuuli with the rest of the party after his separation from them in his pleading to Cryovane and the evil spirit that now inhabits him. Upon arrival with Jaatuuli, in an attempt to give the same bygones be bygones speech as to Jaatuuli, our pacifist cleric Kelroth was not having it, in a shocking yet moment true to character, decided that this was the end of his pacifism, and with spiritual weapon attacked Valin, only to have the entire party put her down while she said some not so nice things about everybody, calling them useless and saying that she was basically a charity case by having to keep an eye on them, and that once she had disposed of them, she would be able to kind of proceed with her quest, not slowed down or hindered by the party. So we're going to basically pick up, we're just going to take a little step back, little box text, and then we'll get right into it. So let us go ahead with episode 31 of Twilight Malediction, titled Another Dead Wizard. As
I like it.
yeah, I mean, it's a theme here. You guys have met a couple. You met the same dead wizard twice.
Hopefully,
once-
there's not even another dead wizard. Cinder.
There's a lot of them. So here's the box text. As Kelroth's spiritual weapon pierces Valin's chest another time, her cigar falls from her mouth as if in slow motion. Her cocky smile is replaced by shock and a harsh realization that her quest to become the most powerful wizard in the Harple clan may not pan out exactly as she expected. Her breathing becomes short, sharp, gasping breaths as she falls at first to her knees and eventually face down in the snow. I need a perception check from Baldr, Jaatuuli, and Orryn, please.
Orryn succeeds. He got a 2.
Don't screw me now.
A 2?
Yeah, a 2 succeeds, right?
You're looking the wrong way.
Sure.
What?
Hey, what's that?
Wait. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly make my strength check
Okay.
against this sticky webs. Just very, very quickly.
17.
Okay.
17
Okay,
PC.
let's see.
22.
Okay.
Ooh,
I'll take a
I'm
14,
just
that's not
short.
bad.
I have... Yeah, I got a 15. So I'm still webbed. I'm still sticky.
Okay. Jaatuuli, what'd you get for perception?
14.
Okay. So, as Kelroth stands, webbed by Orryn's spell in his attempt to sow harmony between Kelroth and their one-time ally, Valin Harple, as he stands there probably still seething, you notice that his expression and his general look are not of the Kelroth who you've spent these I guess weeks. I don't think it's been months. But these weeks traveling Icewind Dale together, his eyes are black, and the usual kind of cautious and thoughtful cleric that you've known is now this seething pile of rage and anger, marked by these eyes that are almost black. What does everybody...
Orryn wants to... Now, I guess I can do this as part of my action on my turn, but Orryn will definitely be kind of like studying, in a sense, of trying to get down to what may be causing this, whether it's possession or some sort of like just anything that could be the cause. Orryn will be trying to figure that out. That'll be on his turn.
Okay. Jaatuuli, what do you want to do? You're going to be at the kind of top of initiative.
And Velen just goes down, huh?
Yeah. And Kelroth's still standing there, webbed. He didn't have to be in range with her because he used a spiritual weapon, so he's kind of off a little bit. But standing there, I guess, all sticky. Like Venkman in Ghostbusters.
Yeah. When Harple goes down, I'll turn my eyes to Kelroth and start giving him a look of I'm not sure what to do.
Okay.
But I definitely have my axes at the ready, and I'm walking towards him.
Okay. Baldr, what do you want to do, having seen Velen Harple just go down and Kelroth's eyes all black, but he's, kind of contained in Orryn's web? Excuse me.
So you're going to see me, if anybody has seen me do it before, I'm going to basically activate my racial ability, and you're going to start seeing this blue energy, like from basically like a light blue and dark blue swirl start like around my body, and just kind of gonna freeze in place for a second.
Okay. Alright, so what, you're like communing with like another plane or something, yeah? Like this
I'm basically getting advice from my master.
Your hardcore
because
meditation.
Yes. Yeah, so basically this would be like the thing, like I'll kind of when I activate it, I'll just kind of go, I'm torn between the company I keep now. I thought we were as a group, but it seems the more and more I travel, people keep their own agendas until they're ready. I don't know if everyone is like this.
Alright, okay, cool. Your master will give you a little message in the Zoom chat. And Kelroth, we are back to you. Everybody kind of taken aback. Orryn, give me an investigation check for you kind of seeing what's going on with Kelroth.
21.
Your studies of, parts of the arcane, they're, artificers are still subjects of the arcane. It doesn't appear to be magical, as if something, external did this to Kelroth to cause him to act like this. It just seems as if this is a state of him that you have never seen before. All right, Kelroth. So you're kind of sticky.
Sticky.
Oh, I'm all sticky. Like butters. So-
So, dig it.
Butterfinger.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an action to break out of the web.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as
Ooh,
he starts
I
struggling to
did
break out,
break out of the
I
web.
say, "Don't break out, Kelroth."
I broke out. I rolled a
Oh.
19.
Okay.
Bad call.
You are now free, and what?
Let's see. Okay, I'm going to
Now, if you stay in that
Who-
area, keep in mind, if you stay in that area, you'll be webbed again at the
Well,
start.
I mean, Kelroth doesn't know that, so not necessarily. Who would be closest to me?
I'm walking up to you right now, staring you down.
Okay.
I
Let's
was
see.
right at Valin Harpel too, so like that.
Yeah, I think you're like 10
I'm
feet
gonna,
away.
I'm
Baldr's gonna
gonna
be
roll
up on
for
her.
it.
Okay.
Okay. I turn towards whoever's closest, which Jaatuuli is implying that it's him. And I lock eyes with him. Black eyes. I move out of the web towards him, but I don't attack him. I will just have the black dagger move to me. But it's not. I'm not threatening you. But I didn't. I don't attack you in any way. There is some restraint there. That's my turn. That's all I do.
All right.
I mean, I had to use my action to break out of the web anyways, so I used my bonus action to move the dagger, so that was my turn.
Okay. Baldr, you're gonna see him get free, bring his spiritual weapon, like Yondu, just kind of floating nearby.
Well, so it can only move 20 feet, and it flew out to hit Vulin, so I'm gonna say it just comes to me, or close to me, like it's moving in my direction, because it can't. Yeah, it doesn't move that far per turn.
like in your
Let me
hand,
double
or is it
check.
just gonna kind of be?
It's gonna be, well, since I'm moving out of the web, I'm gonna say it's moving towards me. It can only move 20 feet, so I'll say it's probably like 10 feet behind me, coming to me.
Okay.
Since I stepped out of the web to not get webby, and I moved up to Jaatuuli.
All right. So Baldr, you're gonna see him step out of the web. The spiritual weapon on its way back to him, and a not non-threatening stance towards Jaatuuli. How many double negatives can we work in? Not a non-threatening stance, but also not directly kind of doing anything about it. Oh, you're still in your
You
train.
know. So I mean, I'm
My eyes
still
are still black.
like I'm still glowing and
Okay.
everything like that too. So yeah.
All right, so you're still in your trance.
No, but now I have advantage on wisdom saving throws and shit like that. But
Okay.
but I can act now. It's fine.
Okay.
I'll say that I don't look very good. Besides the black eyes and everything, I'm less than half hit points. I've taken a beating.
I have on good authority
Oh, so pretty.
to know that you are not evil, but the actions you take against the rest of our companions I won't stand for, and I'll move in between Jaatuuli and Kelroth.
Julie's moving. Orryn, what do you want to do about all of this?
Orryn wants to break Kelroth's concentration on spiritual weapon because he wants to try to, kind of make this a little more peaceful of a negotiation.
Okay.
So Orryn is going. You'll see 3 beams start glowing from Orryn's chest and palm pieces of his armor, and he's going to cast Magic Missile to try to force Kelroth to lose concentration on Spiritual Weapon.
Okay.
And so that's 3 hits, so 3 checks, and I'll get the damage here in just a
Wait,
second.
what? Do I have to make the check?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
for
gotta check
concentration.
3 times every time a missile hits you.
It's a
what am I doing?
DC 10. What is
Are
it?
you
Concentration.
hurting me?
He's trying to get you to
Yes.
break concentration.
Oh,
Yeah.
Then do I have to take damage? Like
Yeah,
how much
you
damage?
still
are you
take
doing?
damage. It's
Okay, well, do damage and I'll. Because
So Bob-
isn't the concentration check based on how much damage
Well,
I
it's-
take?
no, it's
It's
anytime you
10.
take damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 10 or half, whichever is higher.
Right.
But
right.
I'm only going to be doing like 5 damage or 2 damage.
Oh,
so like
okay,
it'll
you
be
did magic
DC
missile?
10 each time.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So 3 DC 10 checks.
Yes.
3 DC 10 checks, and that is.
I better check. Which feats did I take again?
That's 12 total points
Okay, I didn't take that one.
damage.
Yeah, I thought I took Warcaster for a second. So here we go. First roll was a 1.
Yes.
Spiritual weapon fades.
So, what about your eyes? The magic missile is going to hit you like as gently as the compassionate.
Yeah, I'm
hand.
like aiming at the knees.
Okay.
You know.
You're gonna chop that
My
man in the,
knees.
you're gonna chop that man in the leg.
Yeah. He already like, he already has a little bit of a.
Well, tell me how much damage you
Liam?
do.
12.
It's 12 total.
12
force
total?
damage.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Concentration
damage,
broken. You're
though.
welcome, y'all. We out.
Well, oh well.
Yeah, I rolled a 4, a 3, and a 2. So. Above
let's see.
100.
I'm going to make a check.
Okay.
Okay. You hit me in the knee. I'm gonna fall to the ground on my knee, anyways. And my
Orryn feels
eyes,
bad already.
my eyes do revert to a regular color, the standard Kelroth blue eyes.
You're gonna hear Orryn yell, "I'm really sorry. I didn't know what else to do. But that weapon, you just killed someone, and I was
And yeah,
scared."
my weapon disappears.
As kind of Kelroth regains, I guess, his senses, spiritual weapon is going to fade. Valin's body is going to come to rest in the snow. Her pets behind her suddenly drop as if they were marionettes with their strings cut, falling like rag dolls into the snow behind her. Everybody give me a perception check, please.
Natural 20.
Nailed it.
That gives me a 28.
Okay.
Orryn got a 17,
18.
which means with the +0, he's got a 17.
Hey, I got a 17 too.
As her body comes to rest in the snow near the body of yet another dead wizard, you see a satchel as well as 2 books that must have fallen out of her coat as she was struck by the once pacifist cleric. Mistress Hopple, a voice from within the satchel can be heard inquiring after a brief pause. She's dead, isn't she? Oh dear. Then I hope whoever did this to her is capable of dealing with the consequences. I, of course, pass no judgment whatsoever, for I am but an enchanted item. The voice is drawn out by a sudden cacophony of screams, the screams of tormented souls, the screams of the damned, screams belonging to the victims of a now dead necromancer. These screams are accompanied by a sudden bright green glow emanating from the body of the last member of Arcane Brotherhood in Icewind Dale. The light expands rapidly and in all directions, lighting up the sky and the area around you for miles. As this light hits each one of you in the chest, like an ogre hitting you with a club. I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, I definitely saw that one coming.
Oh, right.
You know
big
what?
bright light.
So did I, because natural 20.
I saw that coming because I forgot I have a negative, so I have an 8.
Flash of genius, 16. I don't want to fail.
I ended up with a 17.
All right, everybody go again. Kelroth got a what? 19?
I got an 8.
Oh, okay. An 8. Orryn?
16.
Okay. Jaatuuli?
17.
And 17 for Baldr.
28 for Baldr.
Okay, so Baldr is going to
God
succeed
damn.
and kind of dodge out of the way as this just like a shockwave from an explosion. You can't see it, but
It's part of my training, light sensitivity training.
it just blasts you in the chest. Baldr is going to take 14 force damage.
Nope. I'm not taking nothing. If it's a dex save and
that's
I
right.
pass it, I take nothing.
And then Orryn, Kelroth are going to take 14 force damage. Jaatuuli, are you still raging? Okay, 14 for you then as well.
It wouldn't matter. It's not a physical source, so I would take it anyway.
All right. And as this shockwave hits you in the chest, you feel something inside you that's not quite right. A physical burning, as if your soul or your life essence was on fire. And now I need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Damn it.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
I got an 8.
If I dodge the light, why do I gotta make a save?
I got 14.
Bring up the rear on that one.
I'm going to use Flash of Genius once again to bump me to a 19.
Okay.
10.
And then Jaatuuli, what'd you get?
8.
Ooh, yeah, no.
I done fucked up.
Accompanying the shockwave with the force damage, now this creepy green magical aura kind of invades you, and despite your heavy clothing and the freezing nature of the environment in Icewind Dale, your chest and like the very kind of center of your core just feels as if it is absolutely on fire. And everybody is going to take 12 necrotic damage as Valin Harple kind of explodes. She took the martyrdom perk if this was Call of Duty. And blasts everybody.
What a hoe. How much damage was it?
14.
14. God. Math.
And as the light goes from this kind of subtle glow that grew and grew and grew to this big flash that you could see almost everything for miles because of how bright it is, despite the cover of night and the blizzard that's currently transpiring. Everything for like miles is lit up by this flash of basically the kind of last hurrah of Valin Harple. The voice from the satchel once again. All you all still there? Is everyone all right? I know my mistress is quite vengeful even now that she is gone, and I just, as I said, do not pass any judgments, for I am not unaware of who she was, and I will be honest, I was expecting this day to come sooner or later.
Jaatuuli kind of reels from the green light and just gets insanely angry eyes and goes over and picks Kelroth up off the floor and slams him up against a tree. You did this. You
I-
did this.
Hold on a second. I have 1 hit point.
I won't slam you hard enough to kill you.
Gentle.
I'm literally
Come on.
on the cusp of death right now.
All right. Well, now you also have my jaws snapping at your face. You did this.
Jeez.
You can deal with Jaatuuli now.
I don't know. You just kind of see shock and bewilderment. I'm confused. It's like I don't remember what happened.
Your feet are like 1.5 feet off the ground right now.
Oh yeah, I'm dangling.
Yeah, you're dangling.
And I'm bleeding, and I'm like, ugh, I'm dying.
Got the love
Yeah.
pop.
And I'm wondering what
go-
your face might taste like.
Half elven
So-
face. I don't know if you've had it.
That's half close to a dark elf.
It
man.
is half dark elf.
My favorite.
Yeah, no, I'm confused, and I'm just, yep.
Baldr's just gonna ask why. That's all he's gonna ask. As he's walking over to the orb.
Just casually, like, oh, Jaatuuli's got this. La 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 la.
Yeah, you know, I've you know traveled with you long enough to know that somebody in your arms isn't gonna go away anytime soon. So I'm just gonna ask him why. Basically, you're just gonna hear me go why.
Just pick it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend a moment contemplating, and I'm gonna be like, what happened exactly? The last thing I remember, I felt a surge of anger towards Vulin, and then everything went dark.
From
I will
our
drag you over.
perspective, it looks as if you used us to get your revenge.
Yeah.
And is like Volin's corpse still there? Or did it?
Oh yeah, it's
explode?
you know,
Yeah,
it's
it's-
dead in the snow.
yeah.
Like you're just kind of like slumped over, and there's just like an orb talking, like doing like the glowing as it's talking kind of thing.
It's in a
like,
bag. Yeah. But it's in like a little satchel that fell, and then 2 books as well, like kind of spilled
yeah.
out of her coat.
Yeah. I'll drag you over to Velen Harple's corpse. Look at it. Look at it. This is what you did.
Bad boy.
Just shaking you around.
rubbing your nose in the blood. What are you? Look at you! Look at this! Look at the
Don't
mess you
do
made.
this.
No
in the house.
messes in the house. Yeah. I'll God, Okay, yeah, I just kind of like I just started muttering to myself. I'm just like, no, it wasn't supposed to be like this. It wasn't supposed to be like this. And
I'll look over at Orryn. He's trying to cast a spell. I'll shake him a little bit.
I do have 1 spell slot left.
Magic
but-
missile.
Oh God, I'm gonna die.
Jaatuuli doesn't know what you're doing. He's casting a spell.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just. Did I attack you guys?
No. But you wanted to.
The second you got close to her, you unleashed your weapon. The only weapon I've ever seen you carry, and you weren't even carrying it.
The last thing I remember was a feeling I felt long before, but just an anger welled up inside of me, and I knew I couldn't trust her, and I knew I had to take action.
This feeling before, was it why you're wanted?
I mean, well, the result is why I'm wanted. I, as I've told you before, I've killed other people before,
As have I.
and well, so before I met you, I was on the run, obviously, and I lived in Baldur's Gate, and I knew a woman. She was my wife. Her name was. Oh, I have to look it up because I forgot.
Hold on,
I wrote it. I wrote it down. I wrote it down.
Come up in a while.
I've got
Sorry,
your
I
I do
forgot.
have your backstory like in front of me somewhere on my desk. Cause,
Okay, I have mine. I have it here too. Here we go. Oof, because I've never actually spoken her name. Uh, her name is. Her name was Asura. Asura Sunbloom. She was my wife, and in Baldur's Gate, we were married together for many years, and life was good. But I had fallen on hard times, and I needed money. And well, she was harassed by brigands. So one night I went out to confront those brigands, and this was the first time I had violent urges, and I killed them all in the street. And those people happened to be connected to more powerful people who tracked me down, and they blackmailed me. They forced me to pay them for the cost of their employees, if you will. And I didn't have the money, so I decided to steal the money. And the person I stole the money from was my wife's family, who I knew was very wealthy. And in that moment, I was caught, and I reacted poorly and attacked the people in the house. And I killed a guard and my wife in the ensuing conflict. I don't really recall exactly what happened. As you saw, I kind of lose myself. But since then, I've just been running from everything. And when I came to, I saw my wife and she was bleeding, and a man came behind me. Killian the Grey. He stabbed me from behind, and I was wounded, and I pull up my armor and I show that you can see there is a scar in my chest, but it is healed over, but there is like a very visible scar. And I managed to flee bleeding from Baldur's Gate, and my all I remember is when I was running, I heard Killian call out that he would hunt me to the ends of the world. I fled into a nearby forest and collapsed and blacked out. And after a period of time that I'm not certain, I assumed I was dead, but I woke up. And ever since I've woken up, I've been able to heal. And I just gone on this journey to try and, I don't know, help people and try and seek redemption. I assumed that's why I was back, but clearly whatever is wrong with me is still there, and I cannot control it. I had recently reached out to whoever grants me these powers, and maybe I misinterpreted, but they had encouraged me to take an action of violence if I thought it was necessary. And after what Volin had done to us, how she betrayed us and was using us, I guess I decided that that was what my deity was trying to tell me, that I needed to defend us against her. And so I took action. But clearly I might have made a mistake. I don't know.
Your actions are yours. Always remember that. Whether you are aware of them or not, in the world we live in, the only thing you have is what people can see. I'm a product of such things. And like you kind of like see me just kind of like pull my sleeve back and I show you my arms, and you basically see a skeleton draped in skin. Like, for as powerful as I am, you just kind of see just what looks like skin just kind of like draped over bone. As with the power that I received, I am forced to bear this burden. The power you received comes at a price. It seems the price you paid is a lot steeper than most. Maybe you ask your, as you call them, your deity for a clearer answer. I know most deities like to play and be as unforthright as possible, but anyone that can grant that as much power as they do can give you a clearer answer in what you seek. I would just suggest you find it in yourself to ask again, because I don't wish to lose my companions. I have grown fond of all of you. I don't wish to hurt or be hurt by any of you.
In my current state, my goals, my ambitions haven't changed. I do want to help this land and do right. I'm conflicted about the choices that I made and the results of them, but as you said, you are your choices. I made a choice. I did it in my heart. I think I did it to protect us. But I've never been able to trust my own violent actions before. I will use my channel divinity to attempt to heal myself if I can.
Jaatuuli will drop you.
Extra hard.
I die.
I take 1 hit point of falling damage and I'm dead. Died from a twisted ankle. Oh shit!
So 37. No.
As he's healing himself, I walk over and boot the kobolds out of the way. Just fucking punt them as far as they go.
They are going to kind of... Are you barefoot? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Lizard feet?
Yeah, I'm barefoot.
It's going to be like kicking honey in the like cold weather. They're not going to be of a solid form. They're going to essentially be gooey. They've been dead for quite a bit before Valin's death. So all the things of decay and all these other things have basically just been postponed while she's had them under her thrall. And now that she's gone, it's like kicking an ice cream cone. Like just squish. You're going to get kind of sticky stuff all
Crunch,
over you.
mush.
And there's nothing about them. Like I said, they're just animated puppets that no longer have their strings. Just kind of, they're going to fold in unnatural ways as you kick them. Their body's no longer really able to kind of support a usual kind of...
You're kicking jello.
Yeah. Ambrosia with like chunks of shit in it. Yeah. As they... Okay.
I boot them out of the way as best as I can, and I cut Velen Harple's head off.
Oh.
As
I guess that answers my question.
as
She is alive, she must remain dead.
I fair enough. I know that my actions do not make me the most trustworthy of companions at this time, but and there's the additional difficulties of Killian the Grey.
I need to take a break for just a little bit. My wife just showed up.
Okay. Killian the Grey is my wife's father. That is why he hunts me with such a determination. With such vengeance, if you will. I don't think he will stop hunting me until potentially one of us is dead.
I mean, with a nickname like the anything, I mean, it carries a certain gravitas, as they say.
Well, he wasn't always
Grey, though,
Killian
yeah.
the Grey. He
Bob
was
the
Killian the
Beige.
Grey when I killed his daughter.
Having unburdened your soul, spoken very heartfelt of your situation and deity, as well as healing yourself, in a moment when you're especially vulnerable or something bad happens and you try to hold it together, but the second like somebody gives you a hug, like it all just kind of spills out of you. That comforting hug, like it has many times before, comes. This one longer and deeper than any of the other kind of manifestations of this hug. And it seems to linger longer than you expect it to, Kelroth, as it just holds on until you step away. From the satchel on the ground, I do not mean to be picky as an enchanted item, but Tom is still of the essence that Valin had a quest that is still unfinished, one that, as I recall, you signed up for as well. So her quest is now yours, or perhaps still yours. And as I don't know what Valin has told you, what you know of this quest, but the things I do know say that we will do nothing about it, standing here in what I imagine to be the middle of this frozen tundra, potentially exposed to all manner of creature wishing us ill will and harm.
Yes, yes. We'll get to the
Oh, is she
back
speaking
to
to
the.
us telepathically, or is
No,
it
it's
just
the
coming out of the
globe.
orb?
The
It's
orb,
the globe.
the
It's
orb
that
has
dude.
the orb has the same voice.
It's doing like the pew pew pew.
Yes.
The orb is talking. It's coming out
Yeah.
of the orb, so like everyone
Yes.
can hear it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So basically,
Um,
I tell the orb, says, yeah. We'll get to you. We're dealing with our own problems
Listen
right
here,
now.
fishbowl. I don't got time for
Yeah.
your bullshit right now.
I got one problem at a
Um,
time, and I'm about to stomp on you. So I'll kind of like pick the
Okay.
satchel up and put the two books, kind of look at what they were, and as I'm putting them back in the satchel and then putting it on.
One
I
of the
guess.
books is the prayer book that you guys got from the
Yeah,
basement
we
of
need that.
Orl's castle, and one of them appears in this kind of very dried, unique, textured book that appears kind of gray and waxy as the cover. Anybody can give me an investigations check if you want to find out what it is. And as you flip through it, it becomes pretty apparent that it is.
What do you want?
It's going to be a book covered and bound in human flesh. It's skin that has been cured and tanned, and everything else like most leathers. That is the cover and the outside of what turns out to be Valin Harple's her personal spell book. She's quite a powerful wizard. It has quite the few number of spells in it, and it's obvious enough to know that it is a spell book. Pretty savvy adventurers to know that she's a wizard. Wizards have spell books, but without necessarily being able to kind of decipher everything in it that it says.
So I'll just put the two books back in the satchel along with the globe, and I'll just put it on
Okay.
and carry it with us since. So, where do we go now?
The orb is going to kind of sit there and wait and hear no answer. If I may, we, Valin, and I suppose, we were headed to the Reghead Glacier in the northeast of Icewind Dale, where this crashed Netherese ship has rested for 1,000 years, and inside carries with it the technology to end this curse, amongst other things.
I think I'm familiar with the place you speak of. We've been there once before. So I'll kind of like look at the group and I'll just. It seems like we're going to talk to our clone friend.
I apologize to everybody, including the people on the stream, but I'm going to have to leave early and take care of my house and my wife and just get everything going here. So I love you guys.
Hi, buddy.
Thank you for your patience with me, and I'll see you again shortly.
All right. Hi, buddy.
Okay,
Love you.
bye.
Bye, guys. Don't let just really fucking die. All right.
No, never.
All right. Real quick, we're gonna take our break on that note while we're gonna have to rearrange the cameras here. Yeah. So there it goes. So we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break. We'll come back. We'll have the cameras removed, and then we'll just pick up right where we left off. So everybody, thanks for joining us tonight on this kind of big episode. And we'll be back in just a moment, and we'll pick it right up from there. Hopefully, we'll see you on the other side.
Okay.
All right, we are back from our break. I will kind of spend the next couple of moments lining everybody's cameras back up, but we'll keep going. So right before the break, the party found the object that Valin had sent them to the island for, and are now kind of questioning it, and it's much more, as everybody kind of said, is much more willing to kind of be nicer to everybody. And it has pointed the party to the Reghead Glacier, which the party has been near before as they went to Jaatuuli's village, and explained to them that I gotta shrink Kelroth here, boom. That's where they need to go because that's where Valin was going on her own. There's that. Let's fix Orryn. And knowing this now, what do you want to do as the orb kind of explains everything to you?
Well, assuming
I'm gonna muffle it so only I can hear it.
You shush.
assuming you guys want to continue traveling with me, I think that we should continue where we were before and probably go and deal with this prayer thing, right?
All right.
Like we have to take the prayer to this thing to get the. We have to take the prayer to like. What was it like? It was like a prison or something. It was like a holding thing for an item that we could use to get an item powerful enough to stop the curse, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's do that.
Okay. The orb is going to.
Oh, it was just the magic book and the prayer book, right?
Her spell book, the prayer
Yeah.
book that she stole from you in that dicey little exchange that probably pushed you guys over the edge as far as wanting to deal with her bullshit. And then, yeah, that's basically all she had on her was the orb, her personal spell book, and the prayer book that she had you, steal from Oral.
Okay. We needed the prayer book. So we have that now.
Yes.
So do we know where we need to take it? That's the next question. Does the orb
Yeah,
know
go
where we
talk
need
to
to
where
take
the
it?
where the clone guy was. That's where we gotta go.
The Reghead Glacier is where he told you.
Netherese structure.
Okay, so should we go back to him and ask some more questions now that we have the prayer?
Okay. You guys want to head off to see not Dazan?
Yeah.
Okay. The orb is gonna. It knows everything Valin knows, so it, kind of takes a moment, and Valin has a way of tracking all of her allies, shall we say, and that does not start or end with either incarnation of Dazan. And I know where it is, and if you would like, I can lead you there.
Yes, please take us there.
Yeah. I think that's the best option for now. We need more information.
Very well. And it kind of, if you were to kind of do this, it would kind of glow more intensely as you, kind of line up your bearings as to which direction it would be. And as
That's like a dowsing rod.
yeah, and as you kind of spin, finding like its ideal, level of illumination. It kind of points you in almost like a west-northwest direction from where you currently are, essentially back towards, at least in the direction of the shore, to the sea of moving ice. And you guys are going to head out. Your axe beaks are still, they're around. Jaatuuli, Valin brought them with them, and they're meeting back up with you. So your axe beaks are kind of excited. They're not walking into the middle of a traumatic experience, and they seem eager to want to be ridden and just kind of be with you once again. Despite the howling winds, blinding snow, torchlight can begin to be seen in the distance, and the thundering of hooves on snow can be heard coming from all directions. Out of the darkness, with torches in hand and mounted on a number of different beasts, some native to Icewind Dale and others not, Flaming Fist soldiers appear. They manage to form a giant circle around you, probably in the neighborhood of 150 feet across, and just almost lined up shoulder to shoulder as best you could see in the blinding snow, but they were marked easily by all of the torches that they all carry, and it looks like roughly to be about 45 to 50 of them. One of the riders, it's almost as if you want to be found. A young lieutenant begins getting off of his horse. He, like most of the men, looked tired, cold, and hungry. I am Lieutenant Aston of the Flaming Fist Mercenary Company, and you, Kelroth, are under arrest. Do not resist, and your friends need not die. All of the mounted troops pull out crossbows and point them at Baldr, Jaatuuli, and Orryn. Killian doesn't want you to die, Kelroth. Come with us peacefully, do your penance, and your friends may live. Frankly, I don't care what you choose. All I know is come tomorrow, we're headed home. The Lord Commander will be done with you, and this folly can finally end. What say you, Kelroth? Will you come and face Killian, or do your friends here have to die? The choice is yours. And to the associates of this fugitive, allow me to address you for a moment. Before you think of doing anything rash and risking your life for this murderer, let me ask you, has he told you the truth of his crime? If he has not, then maybe you should ask yourselves why. Could it be that perhaps he does not value the lives of those close to him like he should? Do you honestly believe he is worth dying for? Make no mistake, my men, quite good, and these 40 or so bolts will be headed right for you. Do not die for someone who kills those closest to him. That's right, Kelroth. Killian told me what you did. He's gone to quite the lengths to find you. He's ruined the Flaming Fist. All of our men are dead. And what you see before you is basically all that remains of what was once the largest mercenary company in Faerun. What it does mean, however, is that there are less people to split the 1,000,000 gold he's promised us. Come with me. Let me go home. Let your friends go home. This curse is none of your concern. Leave this forsaken land and its people to its fate. He begins walking towards Kelroth, and his hands beginning to glow with arcane energy. An orb appears in his other hand as he does, and the magical energy is released. Baldr, Orryn, and Jaatuuli, make me a charisma saving throw, please. Ooh.
I have a -1 in charisma, but I rolled a 19, so that's an 18 total.
Okay.
Still pretty good.
Oh,
13.
Okay. As Jaatuuli rolled a 14. As this orb and this energy kind of meet, the energy hits the orb and reflects out, hitting Orryn, Baldr, and Jaatuuli square in the chest. Orryn, you got what? 19?
18 total.
18. Baldr?
13.
Okay. As the energy hits Baldr and Jaatuuli, they're going to vanish. Orryn, you're going to kind of made your save.
That's not good.
All of the crossbow bolts are now trained directly at you. Don't worry, my friends. They'll be fine. They'll return as soon as we are gone. Looks Kelroth dead in the eye at this point, inches from his face, the snow sticking to his hair. Are you ready to face Killian, Kelroth?
Do I get a long rest? That's out of character, obviously.
Yeah, man, take your time. You know?
Yeah. Okay, can I get a nap and get a little bit of spells?
I have 3 spell slots. Just say I use Cure Wounds on you 3 times.
Wait a minute. Didn't we, like, he said we don't have to worry about this quest. We don't have to save the cursed. Adventure done. All right. Like,
way to wrap it up, y'all.
Campaign done.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Okay,
Cool. We're going home. Fuck this. This does suck. We're out.
Let's get cereal. Well, I don't want my friends to die, and I just went through difficult times, so I'm
And you
going
almost
to...
tried to kill us.
I didn't almost do that.
Hey, I was at 9
I
HP.
I potentially threatened to maybe do that, but I didn't actually
It wouldn't take much effort.
threaten you. Okay. Well, I guess I don't have a choice.
You are making the right choice, Kelroth. I heard
Not a choice.
about who you used to be and the great person that you once were, and this shows that you may not be the person that Killian wants you to believe. But then again, it's not my daughter. And once again, magical energy fills his hand, touches Kelroth on the shoulder, and they blink away, gone. And just as they do, Baldr and Jaatuuli are returned from their banishment to a demiplane. So they will return, snapped back in. When they return, Kelroth and Lieutenant Aston will be gone, but the riders in the circle with the crossbows still remain.
Guy's got a ton of ass.
As the 2 banished party members return, as the concentration on that spell is broken and a new one begins on the teleport spell to take Kelroth, one of the remaining riders calls out, "We mean you no harm. You are and never have been our quarry here. We're just here to make sure the lieutenant and your friend get enough of a head start to prevent you from riding back and stopping what must be done. And they sit there for a couple of moments, ever vigilant, all of them looking down the track of their crossbows. And after
Oh, you mean something stupid like this? And then just...
pocket snow.
Gone!
And as after a couple of moments, tense moments, a couple of them look hungry and desperate, the remaining rider says, "All right, boys, let's head back and let's get ready to do some digging, and we can all go home." And one by one, they begin to peel off from the circle, the torches starting to get ever further away as they drift off into the darkness and into the blizzard. And as the last one turns, all you hear is the trampling of hooves and feet of these beasts of burdens as they trample off into the darkness and into the blizzard, leaving Baldr, Jaatuuli, and Orryn standing in the tundra alone with their axe beaks.
Well, Orryn, what shall we do?
We have to try to save him somehow. I just don't know how.
Do we?
It's what we should do.
Isn't that always a choice between what we should and shouldn't do?
Yeah, but he's our friend, and think about all the things we could learn on the way there. It'll be fun, I'm sure. It just won't be, won't be the best thing ever, but it'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be an adventure. I say we do it.
It seems everything with you is an adventure.
That's because everything is an adventure.
Haven't you been on an adventure already? It's still the same one. It hasn't changed. We're still just continuing.
That's one way to look at it. But if you look at it another way, every adventure is comprised of adventures. And the more adventures you can fit in a single adventure, the more meaningful the one adventure is.
Is quite a way of looking at things.
Exactly. It'll be worth it in the end, I promise.
The orb chimes in. I do not mean to eavesdrop, however, as an inanimate object, I really have no choice at times. But Valin had, shall we say, tracked every single one of you, and as a result, I am her spell focus, and all the spells that were active on you still active, and if you want to go rescue your friend, I can get you there.
Hey, Baldr, it's like the universe is telling us to go save him. Isn't this so good? This will be a lot of fun. It'll be worth it. Trust me.
I believe he has appeared once again, and it does not seem too far from here. It would be basically to the northeast, just a few miles. It should only be about an hour or so's ride until we come upon wherever they are.
Okay.
Very well. I shall lead the way, and the glowing kind of indicator has now switched from pointing to where Dazan was to a direction in the northeast, and the glow is much more intense once you kind of fine tune it as it was compared to the one when you were looking for Dazan, most likely indicating that Kelroth is closer than Dazan was. I believe that if we head in this direction that you have seen now, it should only be a matter of an hour or so until we arrive. You guys good? Ready to set off?
Ready as Baldr's
Yeah.
ever gonna be, I guess.
Okay. As you set off in the northeasterly direction towards the orb, it's kind of indication. We're going to cut to Kelroth. And after Aston touches you on the shoulder for a brief second,
Consent, please.
everything kind of blurs and goes black for a very brief second, and you reappear once again in the tundra. Blizzard still kind of coming down, but in the midst of what looks to be a very ramshackle, like, military camp. There are canvas tents all over the place, thousands of them potentially. All of them with holes in them in various states of disrepair, all along the kind of pathways through the rows of tents and other kind of fixtures of an army camp. There are countless bodies frozen in the snow, most of them having been stripped naked, some of them missing limbs, whole arms or whole legs, seemingly roughly hacked off of their bodies. Most of them not in like a pile of blood, meaning that they'd probably been cut off after they were dead, or
Post-mortem.
yeah, something along those lines. And
Does it look like it would have been cut off for the sake of like eating, or does it just seem like it was okay?
I mean, if it was just, do I see any eaten ones?
But I was just wondering because
Are you looking for bite marks?
there's the Boltons.
Yeah,
There's like
are
the
there
Ramsay
any-
Boltons of the world that just torture people.
yeah, no,
I
no,
don't
no.
want to deal with that.
No. They're hungry, and there's a lot of dead bodies at this camp.
Awesome.
And
See, I can deal with people just wanting to eat me, but I'm a gnome, so like, you know,
dog, you're like
everyone's gonna go
pasta.
for Jaatuuli first, you know.
Probably kind of stringy, tough.
Yeah, that,
The half elf's probably tender like veal.
but I'm like 70 calories total.
Yeah,
So.
you're like a Diet Coke.
Exactly.
So as the camp kind of comes into view, Kelroth, Lord Aston, or Lieutenant Aston, looks you in the eye in a somewhat sympathetic kind of look. Was the right choice you made to leave your friends. There's no reason why they should pay for your crimes. And he kind of turns and gestures out towards these stone structures that seem to scale much larger than like a typical humanoid's kind of architecture or structural building would be. The archways, everything just seems much grander and much bigger proportionally. And off in the distance, through the snow, you see one of these giant stone structures, a small fire in front of it that seems to be struggling to kind of keep going in the blizzard. And as you walk closer, you see more dead bodies, a couple of Flaming Fist soldiers who you're not sure are alive or dead until like they cough, or you can get close enough to see them shivering and miserable. And Aston very solemnly kind of leads you. He doesn't prod, he doesn't, talk any kind of shit. Just respectfully following orders of his Lord Commander and delivering the prize that they have sought out. I've served with Lord Killian for quite a while, Kelroth. He was an honorable man as far as mercenary commanders go.
Quick question.
Huh?
Do I know him?
No.
No. Okay.
No. As far as mercenary commanders go, he was a good man. And when he told me that we were coming up here and that we were bringing everybody with us to find you, I thought he would abandon this. No reasonable man would risk the lives of 10,000 of his soldiers to have most of them die of cold and starvation in the search for one person. You killing his daughter has changed him, and this, you have become his reason for existing. Nothing will talk him out of this. And I'm sorry for what's about to happen, but I can't stay here anymore. I can't freeze. I can't be here for you. And you continue to walk through the snow. As you pass a couple of Flaming Fist mercenaries, they look up at you and go from this kind of solemn, downtrodden, beaten dog kind of posture and temperament to everybody perked up, whispering to each other, pointing at you. And it's not long before everyone realizes that their target has now arrived in camp. And as you get closer, you recognize the familiar figure standing there, all decked out in his finest armor, still commanding orders, still looking like a man in charge of his faculties and in command of a large mercenary army. But he's the only one that seems that way. Everybody else seems disinterested or busy doing other things, while he seems to pretend that this expedition is still going well. Aston kind of puts his hand on your chest, instructing you to stop. I'll tell him that you're here. And he walks up. Lord Commander, I have fulfilled my duty and my obligation to you. I have brought the fugitive back. And in exchange, I ask that you allow me and the men to make our preparations to go home. We're done here, my lord. It's time to go home. And he's in the middle of making preparations and hears and as first dismissive. After a second he learns and is startled. Kelroth, my men have found you. Wow. I was worried that all of these men were going to have died for nothing. And now it seems quite apparent that they've died in the most noble and honorable way, in the aid of a grieving father. All the men quickly move away, and he stands there with a longsword. What do you have to say for yourself, Kelroth?
I'm not good at emotional stuff. I just find it funny. I'm not good.
Starts giggling. What's so funny? What's so funny?
No.
Dog, you killed all of
Calroth
these
does,
men
just
for
because
me?
just because I do doesn't mean Calroth does. Okay. Ugh. How far apart are we?
Probably about 40 feet. There's like kind of a circle where the men would probably sit around what appears to be, as you've walked through the camp, essentially like the last fire. All of the men that remain, however many, according to Aston, you saw most of them in the riding company that rolled up on you. And the ones who you've seen here, aside from the two that Killian was talking to when you walked up, all of them look to be dying of starvation or whatever else may come of spending weeks in the middle of the tundra. Aside from the stone structure at the end where Killian seems to kind of be based out of.
What is so everyone looks like they're not doing so great.
Yeah, everybody that you've seen does not look like they're doing well.
Okay. How does Killian look?
Uh, he's not the like kind of strong exemplar of a mercenary. Once physically fit and strong and just impressive, the vibe that he gives off is still the Killian that you've always known. Imposing, commanding, threatening, but just an imposing figure. The physical form of him does not match the Killian that you know. You've seen him in his armor many a time. It looked like at one point he barely fit in it. He was so fit. Now it hangs awkwardly off of him as if the shell that it hangs on no longer fills it out. So his pauldrons are a little like askew because his shoulders aren't as wide. The chainmail on his, like his chest kind of hangs a little bit more than it used to. But the intensity and the fire in his eyes is still absolutely there. You see nothing but seething hatred, even if it is not from the physical being that you've always known.
Okay. Going to say that there's not much I can say. There was something wrong with me. I lose control. You lost your daughter, but I lost my wife. I understand what you're going through, but I just like your daughter was a gift from the gods, so too have my gifts been given to me, and I've just been following them as best as I could. I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I can't bring back the dead, and I can't change the past. I just have to do what I can in the time that I have and hope for the best. If you think that punishing me in some way will make right for the wrongs that we both have been dealt, then I guess I can't stop you from doing what you think you need to do.
That's You bring up an interesting point that neither of us is perfect, and in what we will both admit is a highly emotionally charged environment that may perhaps keep rational men from rational thoughts. I feel I am not the best to judge your fate, and I will not bring you back to Baldur's Gate. It is too far, and my men will not suffer all that they've suffered just to bring you back a prisoner. And we both sit here and speak of gifts of the gods, and their gifts are great. We all enjoy them. We are all blessed by them. But they are things that others can provide. The one thing that we cannot provide is the judgment and the will of the gods. So, rather than pass judgment on you, I will allow the gods to decide your fate in the only true and just manner of trial, to take out the human experience.
He's gonna stake you to the ice.
And emotion. And he pulls out his longsword from its sheath, kind of caresses the blade for a minute, swipes his hands up the blade, igniting the sword, reaches behind him, and he pulls out a very basic cudgel. A man of the gods, are you now, Kelroth? Well, from what I know about men of the gods, they don't trust you with much more than their grace and the most basic of weapons. And he throws the cudgel at Kelroth's feet. Let us finish this, Kelroth. Fight to the death. Winner carries on and is truly the one who loved my daughter. For only he who loved her more should be allowed to continue in this world. You're muted.
Yeah, I cannot take arms up against you. I still have difficulties around violence, as I just learned. If this is how you feel, I can't stop you. I'm going to ask my God for his judgment and strike me down if you will. And I have one last spell slot. I'm going to make a prayer, and in that prayer I'm going to, just be like, this is it. You're gonna have to make a choice, since I am in a situation where I can't, and I'm going to do something that I'm not good at, but I'm going to cast Death Ward on myself.
Okay.
And with the intention that I'm going to let him strike me down and feign my own death.
Okay.
And Death Ward The first time you would drop to 0 hit points as a result of taking damage, you instead drop to 1 and the spell ends. So when he hits me, I would die. I instead don't die, but I'm almost dead. And I'm going
He's
to try
only
if he
mostly dead.
hits me, if this happens, then I'm going to use that as and feign my own death. Yep.
He makes, some dramatic flourishes and swings with his flaming longsword. Probably as most kind of proud soldiers would. You're not even going to pick up the cudgel. It's just going to sit there in the snow. Okay.
I'm not even going to dodge his attack.
He's going to slowly make his way over, kind of, impressive flourishes, showing all these things. You're going to stand there stoically,
I'm just going to hold up my holy symbol, which has the platinum, a strip of platinum cloth that comes from the dress that Asura wore when I last saw her.
Okay. And as he makes his way towards you, you feel once again the dramatic and all-enveloping embrace of whatever it is that has been, giving you this at certain moments. And as you are squeezed just so hard, a voice in your head, the voice of your deity, as you know, is now female and still deep, booming like a god would be. But
You like this?
Death by snoo snoo. First the large women. What do those guys die of? Fractured pelvises. It's distinctly feminine, but still very deep and booming, like you would expect a god to be.
Mm-hmm.
The choice is yours, my son. My grace be upon you, no matter what you choose. However, part of your blessings of life is to want to continue in it. Had your time been up and had fate decided that your crime was the last thing you would commit, you would not have been here for me to save and for me to show you that you are better than your worst actions. You have shown it this entire time. Your selflessness, your desire to help these people, your compassion towards your companions. You are not the person you think you are, Kelroth. You are a person who made a mistake. Your life need not be over as a result. And dude's gonna come up swinging, kind of at a distance where he'd hoped you would have picked up the cudgel by now. Is this it? Is this the man who struck down not only my men, but my daughter in cold blood? I've killed my entire army. I will never work again. And you're going to stand there?
I can only imagine the pain that you feel. I felt similar, but know that though my mistake was grave and has haunted me for every day since, I know that as a man who's made mistakes, that you too can make mistakes, but deep down you were a good person, and you can still be a good person. And if striking me down is the way that you feel like you can return to being a good person, then I won't stop you. But I cannot stop you from taking your vengeance. I I just can't.
I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, Kelroth. Trusting you, letting you into my home, allowing you to marry my daughter. Never thought much of you, and I thought in her wisdom she would not waste more than the amount of time with you that she needed to. And before she got the chance and wised up and left you and sought a better life, you turned into the exact thing I told her you would be. You took everything from me, Kelroth, and you took everything from her. And your penance, as you see it, is wandering around, solving a problem that's not yours, in what, the hopes of redemption in some mystery god? Oh no, Kelroth. If the gods were just, you wouldn't be here.
I definitely understand how you can feel that way. But when you first struck me down, you killed me. I I'm quite sure I died, but I came back. Whether that's an act of God or just plain luck, I don't know. But I can say that your daughter was also a gift from the gods. Don't forget that I know that you and your wife were not able to have children, and that she came along as a gift from the gods. Maybe this was a challenge put before us. Maybe this is all just fate or the gods playing a twisted game. But I've decided that this is how I'm going to confront this challenge. It's up to you to decide how you wish to face your side of the challenge.
It seems you have no interest in fighting me, which means that you are ready to pay the price. And in an act of generosity for the love I had for my daughter, I will give you an honorable and quick death. Kneel, say what you must say. It's time, Kelroth.
uh, Having dealt with what I have, I will say that I definitely won't kneel. My God has told me everything I need to know. So strike me as I stand here.
Very well. And he's gonna turn his sword upside down, stick it into the ground. I'm gonna warm up his hands for a second. Pick it up.
Between.
Reach back and just come down perfectly between like where the end of your armor, the seam in your armor, and like your bare flesh. And for a brief second, you're going to feel not only the cold kind of sensation that usually accompanies being cut really bad. As somebody who's done it, believe me, it's true. followed
Oof.
by
I've been cut.
the immediate sensation of searing burning as you
Ow.
go down into the snow and blackout. We're going to cut back to Baldr, Jaatuuli, and Orryn. The orb has pointed you in the direction of the camp, and as you've followed the heading that it's given you, eventually, as you kind of come over this hill, you see the massive camp that you have avoided at least, I think, twice. I think going to Jaatuli's village and coming back.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, so you've seen
we
it.
pretty much avoided it at all costs.
Right, and so when you saw it, it was massive and it was sprawling, and you did not get close to it because of how big it was and probably the amount of soldiers that occupied it at the time. And as you come over this kind of hill, you see the camp, and it looks much worse and in a much sadder state than it was when you first encountered it. There's no torchlight spread throughout. A lot of the tents have holes in them. Some of them are missing their canvas, and it's just busted up frame that they were hung upon. And even more so, there are no posted sentries, no guards, it would appear, kind of making their way around. What do you guys want to do? You're probably a couple 100 yards away. Everything just kind of comes into view, but no torchlight, and as you ride up, like I said, no sign of like any kind of sentries or guards or anything.
I'm gonna kind of make the dismounting motion towards Orryn. I don't want to like yell it or anything like that, but I'll kind of like, shift my weight to one side of the saddle and just kind of like act like I'm gonna get off and see what his reaction is.
Orryn will basically follow Baldr. Let me think. What would Orryn do? Orryn definitely wants to save Kelroth, for sure. So, does it appear like you're making a movement that would potentially put you there?
Yes. So I just don't want to like be riding up on a axe beak in the middle of an enemy encampment. I'd try to, be as stealthily as possible.
Yeah, so Orryn will follow your lead, but since he's not stealthy at all, he will expect that you understand that he will follow back a little bit.
Yeah.
I got little legs, bro. The snow's deep.
Yeah. Orryn has to put in a lot more effort to step through that snow.
I'll basically just kind of like scout out the area and just make sure that it's a safe area for us to just kind of like dismount and like get our bearings.
Now, have we, because I have 9 HP, have we had a short rest from this ride? No. Okay.
Yeah, you've been hauling ass trying to keep up.
Catch up, yeah.
All right, so from the top of this hill, Baldr, Orryn, Jaatuuli are going to kind of hop off their axe beaks for the reasons that Baldr explained, to not just be galloping up on giant Arctic chocobos.
Exactly.
And as you kind of scan the area, you see, like I said, the camp looks in just a sad state. Off in the kind of distance, probably another couple of 100 yards into the camp, you see one lone source of light, a fire, the only one that you can see. And the snow has started to stop, and you see these giant structures made of stone just off in the distance, raised up above all of the tents. And to the looking northeast, so essentially due east of where you are, so about 90 degrees off from your heading, you will see all of the animals that the riders had that surrounded you kind of grouped up together, seemingly eating something. They all seem to be fighting with each other, and maybe 10 of them seem kind of actively engaged, like in that kind of feeding circle, and then another probably 24 around them, fighting not only with other members not in the circle, but occasionally nipping at the ones that are, as if trying to get in on whatever's going on.
I have an idea. So I'm gonna look towards Orryn and Jaatuuli, and I know the perfect scenario for this. And then I'm gonna look towards Jaatuuli, and I'm gonna need you to be a big scary lizard man. And then I'm just gonna kind of look at Orryn, and I'm gonna go, perfect. He's got it down to a fact. And so I'm just gonna kind of look at him and go, what I want you to do is to scare the animals into like a stampede to cause a distraction while we are doing this. So that way they have more to worry about than just any commotion that we cause.
Okay, first of all, I love it. You're gonna. All right, so Jaatuli's gonna go off like towards the pack of animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go with him, or are you gonna stay where
Orryn
you
and
are? Okay.
Orryn and I are gonna go towards the stone structure.
Okay.
That it looks like the main part of the camp, I guess, would be towards.
Okay.
So I'm gonna basically say, Orryn, is that looks like where we need to go, and just kind of let him in on, let him know like what the plan, my idea is, basically just like cause a stampede so that way everybody else is worried about it, so that way we have a little bit easier time to move around, / if we get into a fight, 19 people aren't going to respond instantaneously.
All right. Orryn, you got anything else before we push this ball down the hill and see how it goes?
Yeah, right.
Orryn's just a little scared at the moment, but he'll do it.
All right. So what? You're gonna start making your way towards the camp as Jaatuuli splits off?
Yeah, and we're gonna try to, I guess, move towards try to pass by the more desolate tents.
Okay.
Just kind of zigzag in between stuff if we have to.
All right. Are you gonna wait for a cue?
No, I'm kind of gonna let Jaatuuli go on that one. He knows how to cause a ruckus, so
Okay.
I'll just kind of wait for the ruckus to start before we make our major movement, and stop being stealthy.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, sorry, Dustin, did you use that ring last time to recover a 3rd level spell slot, or is it still able
I did
to
use it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's how I cast.
Gonna...
That's how I cast the spiritual weapon.
Okay. I was gonna use it and cast invisibility on Baldr, but yeah.
I think.
Oh,
I think I still have the ring.
Good. You
Alright.
cast invisibility on yourself, dog. You just that way they just hear clank, clank, clank. Like, what the hell is that?
Somebody throwing pots down the stairs?
Yeah, right.
So as Jaatuuli sets off, he's going to do it in a very Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck kind of way. bury himself in the snow, eyeballs sticking out, and just like burrow his way through the snow, making all the correct turns at Albuquerque.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
And as you kind of follow the, like mole kind of track through the snow, you see it come up probably within about 15 to 20 feet of the outer ring of the non-fed animals, drawing a little bit of curiosity. They're wild animals, and this is most likely the kind of behavior of something that they would hunt. And just as 3-4 of the kind of larger creatures, polar bear to seemingly Arctic cats, make their way over, Jaatuuli's just going to pop out of the snow, make himself as large as possible, give off an absolutely bestial roar, and we'll roll an intimidation check for him.
Wow.
Ooh, not good. And not by his intimidating presence, but more for the jump scare of it. He's going to spook a couple of them, and they're going to rear back, and in the panic, begin more of a fight with each other. They're going to bump into other animals who are feeding aggressively, and that's going to start something. And then the ones who are genuinely scared are going to start taking off into the camp, and do so just haphazardly, plowing through tents, knocking over frames, stepping on and squishing bodies dead and frozen in the snow. And as Orryn and Baldr kind of stand on the outside or towards the outskirts of the camp, you see off in the distance tents starting to get pulled, like as an animal runs through it, pulled off in the direction, and you even hear like some faint screaming and a bell ringing as if an alarm has been sounded.
There's our sign. I basically look towards Orryn and want to start moving towards the stone structure.
Okay.
Orryn will follow.
Yeah. Give me stealth checks with advantage. There's a lot going on.
All right. Dex, not too bad. All right, here we go. All right. Well, not
So,
great, not terrible.
Since Orryn is following behind, can he just skip his spell check? Bob.
Because I'm worried about this 3. I don't think it's going to go well.
Yeah.
Not my best roll either, so just to be forewarned.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 14 for me. Not my most stealthiest moves, I'm not gonna lie.
Alright, let's see. Let's roll a couple here and let's see what we get. A couple of soldiers run past, or not like they're looking for you, but in the course of going where they're going, briefly kind of see you. Eventually kind of pay you no mind and seem to move on towards whatever the commotion is that seems to be a more pressing issue.
Was I aware of them running by?
Yeah, you would see that, especially as you're kind of like ducking, essentially in like the alleys and the kind of back parts between
One
the
of those
tents.
Scenes in like a movie where just kind of like you see people running and then like it just like slows down as they like look at each other in passing, and then like, all right, okay.
They paused and then kind of go, wild animals, whatever the fuck you guys are doing, I'm gonna go deal with that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just kind of look at Orryn. I feel we may have been known. We might want to hurry.
The commotion of the animals kind of, making their way through the parts of the camp seems to have subsided. But by this point, you see probably 24 torches over off in that part of the camp. And as you continue to make your way through the alleys and kind of back cuts of the camp, you will notice one of those torches, seemingly attached to a person, go flying through the air 10 to 15 feet above the ground, as if a soldier had been gored by one of the larger mounted creatures that they'd had earlier. The bell has stopped, and as you get closer, within a few 20 feet of this clearing with the stone structures in the back, this kind of circle, and the only fire that's not attached to a torch that you've seen, you see a man standing there with exhaustion and looking gaunt in this impressive armor, but standing over a body with a flaming sword and just looking down at it blankly, expressionless, with nobody else around except for the body of your companion face down in the snow and his apparent killer standing over him, silent, flaming longsword in hand.
I feel we're too late.
Yeah. I would have. So, like, I know it appears like Kelroth's dead, but is he like?
I mean, I imagine we wouldn't have no discerning because like all the blood and everything that would, it's like plus we're not that close.
It's the end. It's the end of Romeo and Juliet. Like, is he really dead? Or are you guys just gonna kind of miss each other ever so slightly by a couple of moments? As far as you know, in the way especially that you're kind of coming up on them, Kelroth's, he's gonna fall in this way. Kelroth's feet are gonna be the closest to you, and as he gets more distance away from where you are, his torso and his head and everything. So all you're basically going to see is his feet, and if he's dragging that wagon, I don't know, Kelroth's butt situation, probably America's ass, and then his cloak, and that's it. So no discernible way other than the fact is that you're going to see man dressed in very fine, authoritative black steel armor standing over your friend face down in the snow, saying nothing, just staring at the body.
Orryn is going to, he's going to have a few tears being shed as he yells and starts running towards him to try to punch him.
No!
The figure is going to look up. You're too late. He has faced the judgment of the gods, his own included, who did not see fit enough to save him or strike me down. Yet here I remain, unharmed, standing over the body of the one who's destroyed my family.
How dare you? How dare you claim to speak for the gods when you are a mere mortal just like the rest of us? You took his life, you hypocrite.
Their will lives through me. Should the gods have willed... Ooh, Freddy. Bring it. I have nothing to live for For all I have wanted has now been accomplished. Spit on Kelroth's back. This is the last thing I had to do. You will be the last thing I choose to do. And everybody roll for initiative, please. Ooh.
I have a 20.
Ooh, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, Killian, ready to get it on. Not as much as Orryn, apparently.
Should I roll initiative?
If you would like to, yes.
It's not a lot.
Hey man, don't let being dead, stop you from doing your thing.
That's an 18
I'm still
for
me.
Baldr.
Woo.
I have an 8.
Yeah, I
Baldr's
rolled an
ready for this.
18.
Baldr's ready for this shit, dog. Like,
Baldr. Killian. Okay. All right. So, Orryn, very confrontational, not too happy about your boy being dead. He's gonna stand. Actually, hold on. I actually got a thing for him. And boom. Stands there imposing, flaming longsword, ponytail. Just like I said, does not look. You wouldn't know this, but looks a little kind of small in his armor. And as you scream out and call him a murderer, whatever, he readies himself with his flaming sword. Bring it. I need not fear you. The gods are clearly on my side. And Orryn, it's your turn.
Orryn is going to run up to him and thunder gauntlet his ass.
Okay.
Who attacks Nat 20 on the first one.
All right.
Anyone on D&D Beyond. I did it. Oh wait, sorry. I forgot that
Oh,
we do.
never mind.
So,
16.
20 total thunder damage for that one attack.
Ooh, nice.
oh, nice.
I use D&D Beyond's like roll critical hit. I forgot that we used max plus die. So 20 total thunder on that one.
Okay. Disadvantage against everybody, not you.
Correct. Then
Okay.
25 to hit.
Yes.
Assuming that hits. And that's an 8. So 13 damage. I rolled a 7 and then an 8 plus a critical. So like 13 additional. So 33
Very nice.
thunder. I think that's the most damage I've ever done with this character.
Nice.
Orryn is pissed off today
I know, apparently. All right.
with his bonus action.
Oh,
Orryn is going to make the homunculus servant attack.
okay.
So hold on 1 second. That's only 14 to hit, but Orryn is going to use Lucky to re-roll that one, which makes it a 22 to hit. So,
Okay.
and it's not a great hit. So that's 7 force damage. So altogether, 40 damage. Orryn is pissed off.
Yeah, buddy. All right. You're going to come in, like literally like a heavily armored spider monkey, because you're probably about that size. And just, I picture like Yoda fighting Dooku, just this little tiny thing flipping everywhere and just pissed off and punching things. Oh, hold on.
Yes.
Forgot to give you the Thunder Gauntlet sound. All right. With great vengeance and furious anger comes the Rock Gnome. Now, Baldr, your turn.
All right. So 24 to hit for the first one.
Yes.
All right, and then the second one. It's 17 to hit.
Yes.
All right. Uh, 9 points of regular and 2 psychic.
Okay.
For for the first attack. And then 8 points for the second one. And bonus attack. Does a 13 hit?
It does not.
Oh, blomp blomp.
Womp womp.
Alright, that's it for me.
Alright.
And then I'd like to basically stay between him and Orryn.
Okay. Killian, much to his surprise that you've come back for Kelroth, as well as the ferocity of the gnome who is not taking his bullshit, is going to take a step back. It matters not what you do here, for the gods have spoken, and your friend is still dead, no matter what happens to me. And he's going to go down, pull off his belt, take a swig of this liquid.
Purple drank.
And he's going to look literally the smallest amount better that math will allow after taking his sip. And as he takes his sip, you notice a really deep rumbling from within the ground. Boof, boof, boof. Bigger than any of the animals could cause in their stirring. And it seems off in the distance, but something large, boom, 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 is dropping thundering footsteps coming towards you. Kelroth, you want to do anything, or are we still going to be Juliet?
There's big noise and stuff. I'm gonna hold my action.
Okay.
To see what this big noise is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer.
Gonna peek up with one eye open, see, nah, it's not my moment, and close your eye again. And as you do so, the thundering footsteps get louder. Not only louder, but they are shaking the ground in such a way that you worry you may not be able to constantly stand on your feet, as
My D20.
this whole thing just keeps rumbling around. And off in the distance, you hear and see Jaatuuli, like booking it through the camp, apparently in front of whatever is causing these footsteps. And Jaatuli's going to scream, "Giants, they're here." And just kind of run up to where you all are, pull out his axes and kind of stare. You know, he's not going to abandon you guys fighting for Kelroth's vengeance. But as he stands there ready and very Jaatuuli barbarian-like, is going to constantly be glancing over his shoulder in the direction from which he just came, trying to look for something. Orryn, we are back up to the top with you, and as Jaatuuli has now joined the fight, the footsteps and the just boof, boof, boof is getting louder and shaking you to the point where, like, you can hear the plates in your armor like rattle against themselves.
I guess Orryn will attack him again and then try to flee.
Okay.
So That's what it'll do. So Thunder Gauntlet 1 to the face.
Little Mac.
He's going to use Lucky. His last piece of Lucky to re-roll that because he rolled a 2. 24 to hit on that one.
Okay. Yes.
And then a 24 to hit on the second one. So
also yes. No, that 24 doesn't do it.
So 25 total thunder damage.
Wow. Okay.
And then he is going to use his alchemical homunculus or homunculus service to hit again, which is 25 to hit, and then 5 force damage. So 30 total damage. Orryn is still pissed. And then Orryn will look for somewhere to kind of move to see if to get away from where the giant would see.
Okay.
He's going to move like maybe behind a wall or something.
Okay. There's like a set of stairs and some pillars at the end of the, where the stone structure is that you could kind of make it to and hide behind like one of the pillars. It's like Stonehenge but raised up on a platform.
Yeah, that's what Orryn will do. He's short enough, the stairs will be fine.
Okay. All right. Very good. You're gonna run. You're gonna hide. You're gonna punch him twice, and Killian, who has gone from exceptionally confident and believing that the gods are on his side, is suddenly not too happy about his situation. That he heard Jaatuuli scream giants, and he is currently facing off with you, Baldr, next to Act.
Alright. So I'm going to make my 2 attacks. 18 on the first one.
Okay.
And a nat 20 on the second one.
Yes.
All right.
Miss.
So first one is nice, good roll. 13 points of regular and 2 more points of psychic.
Okay.
And then the nat 20. Oh, that sucks. So that's 19 points of damage for the second one.
Ooh. Okay.
And then so I'm gonna look at Jaatuuli and I'm going to tell him to grab Kelroth's body and get him out of here. And then I'm going to spend a key point to try and finish off the dude.
Okay.
And flurry of blows.
All right.
That's a dirty 20 on the first one.
Okay.
And 24 on the second one.
Both of them, yes.
All right. That's 10 points of damage for the first one.
Okay.
And 10 more points of damage for the second one.
All right.
2 5s.
Okay. I am totally sorry. I'll be right back. I gotta go do something. I will literally be back in 1 second.
You're good.
So just give me 1
You're
second.
Dead. So, how about them sports team? That's what they say.
The sports teams are doing really good. I'm just mad when the one sports team, loses to the other sports team.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, I get so mad. I throw my beer. I
Your
throw.
beer? No, don't waste
Yeah.
your beer.
Well, I
That's
just get
really
so
bad.
mad.
Yeah,
How
that's
can
really
the sports
bad.
team lose to the other sports team? It's so frustrating.
It's difficult, man. You know, like
Yeah, people just don't understand how hard it is to root for a sports team that loses.
I think people don't understand that if you pray for your sports team, like when you score a goal and you thank God, that
Yeah.
clearly you're the winning team, right?
Yeah,
Like
God
Yeah.
hates the other people.
God hates the other team, even though
course.
they also thanked God for their goal.
There's a meme I actually
That's not
saw
how it works.
today
They
that was
cheated.
like the other team was like, "Uh-oh, they're praying too. What do we do now?" So as Baldr continues to just wail on Killian, the thundering footsteps increase in intensity, and you start to see whole tents flying through the air, as well as the bodies of other Flaming Fist mercenaries who dared stand in the way of this rampaging giant.
Is it my turn?
It is actually Jaatuli's, who is going to pick up Kelroth in like one big running motion and begin to kind of book it towards where Orryn is, back in the structure, just as the giant makes its way to the circle. It gives out a vicious giant roar. You notice that it is a female giant, oddly beautiful for their kind. And at no point does it even look to the rest of the party. Its sole focus is Killian. And its once rampaging and chaotic kind of demeanor changes to one of a mouse, or a cat who has a mouse cornered. It goes from this rampaging, charging Goliath to this kind of pacing and patient creature, never breaking eye contact with Killian as he looks up to it. "Do your worst, you beast. My life has fulfilled its purpose." And in a very melodic and beautiful voice, the giant says, "You know nothing of purpose, for my child has seen not only the lows but the highs, and has found a purpose on his own." And she's going to walk up, 2 big strides, pick Killian up, and just rip him in half. Throwing...
Probably just eating popcorn, man. Like,
I'm like right there, like, oh god.
Splits the Killian in half.
Oh no.
And walks over towards the structure where Jaatuuli has done his best to hide Kelroth's body. And the giant is going to walk over, and in that same beautiful melodic voice is going to say, "Arise, my child. Your time is not quite finished on this plane." Kelroth, you are going to feel the biggest hug you have ever felt. You are going to feel...
How many hugs?
You are going to feel better than you have ever felt. A warmth and a sense of purpose and a sense of absolute awe and connection with this giant. As you are healed, you stand back up. The giant meets your gaze. You have served me well, and I cannot allow you to pass into this next world at this time when you have more grace and more to show on this earth. I have ensured that you will continue on, as I ensured that your worst moment would not be your last. Arise, my child. Kneel before she who you serve. Take my blessing and free this land of this curse.
Is this all in common?
Yes.
Oh shit.
And that's where we will end it for tonight.
Oh no, poor Killian.
Poor Killian.
Orryn is pretty
Poor me,
ecstatic.
dude. I need to find somewhere to take a bath now. I just got coated in Killian, dude. Yeah.
Killian's Baldr's red.
Yeah.
I cast the spell Coat in Friend. You are now coated in your friend.
So
My friend, he was your
Well.
friend.
yeah,
He was my
father-in-law.
father-in-law. Yeah.
So, all right. First of all, let me say, Kelroth, your whole dealing with this thing was awesome. Just with everything, well done. Like, well done.
Yay.
So yeah, faced with this giant creature speaking in common, tearing apart their enemies, and giving Kelroth a virtual hug while healing him, is where we will leave it tonight.
I have no spells.
All right. So, as always, our players are great. Their characters are great. And as we get further along and into these kind of bigger moments, you get to see a lot about them. And as always, everybody was great and just perfectly on character. So bravo. In addition to these great characters, there are even better people behind them. At the end of the show, we always meet the fine gentlemen behind these characters who, like I said, are infinitely better than Jaatuuli, Baldr, Orryn, and Kelroth, who are pretty badass in their own right. So on our way out, let us start with Orryn, the pleased viewer of this essentially free pay-per-view that he got to see. Orryn, tell us about Landon.
I'm Landon Baker. I love any sort of video game or tabletop game that's more like, I guess, like fantasy settings. You know, I like magic and all that good stuff. Same thing with like TV shows. It's pretty rare that I'll watch a TV show that's not like based in this general setting.
Sure.
I have a wife. I have 2 Saint Bernard puppies who outweigh my wife and I. So my boy outweighs me. The girl outweighs my wife. So they're they think they're lap dogs, but they're not. I want to say this group is definitely the best group that I've played with, and I have a lot of fun playing D&D with this group. It's definitely appreciated, and I look forward to it. I really missed last week. So.
Me too. We love you, buddy. And like I said, I couldn't do this without any of you guys. And yeah, so just thank you. All right, let's go to Baldr, who's seen quite the kind of show today. Yeah, I was like, yeah, you saw kind of a show. You had a little talk with your people, and then you saw your boy dead, and then you got a front row seat to
Him getting dead.
Yeah.
That guy getting dead. I'm Lewis. I played Baldr this evening. As like like Landon said, I love playing D&D with this group. Tuesdays becoming one of my favorite days of the week, just strictly because I get to play D&D with these guys, and especially Manny, who gives us a great story to go off of. Without that, none of really what I do or think of would be, any come close to what's happening. So, yeah. Again, love hanging out with you guys. Love this, and hope it continues.
Yep. All right. And let us finish up with not only our stoic and accepting cleric, but also who played a bit part of Juliet in Faking Death. Yeah, Dustin, go, man. Great job. Great job. This was, as everybody kind of saw, this was kind of Dustin's character arc kind of finale we've been building to. The Flaming Fist have been around for a while. And we finally got there, so I hope it was satisfactory to you and just kind of cool. I had a great time watching it, I'll be honest with you.
Kelroth worships a hot giant babe.
It was it was good. I wanted to challenge the game by playing a pacifist and making a sort of but not like a goody two shoes pacifist, like a
Principled one.
a principled, like a flawed individual. And it was kind of cool. It kind of played out in a lot of ways how I thought it would, which is kind of fun that like I was able to have those things happen, like, or as things develop, like with Valen and stuff, like I saw how my character would progress through that. It was fun to play it out. It makes me look forward to, because I mean we're kind of getting to the end of this, so it's really exciting to think about what I can do in the future, like make a non-pacifist character, for example. And like, yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited for the future. I love playing games with these peoples, and I think that the world and the story in the game that we've created has been a lot of fun. And I'm glad that we just, we have fun and we shoot the shit, and it's not like drama.
This isn't a job.
Yeah.
Like I said, as always, as much as these guys enjoy being here, I love having them, because if not, I'm just some struggling writer who has to write a whole story instead of just half of it, and that just sounds like a lot of fucking work. So being Dungeon Master to these guys is just great. They're so invested in their characters. We've been at this for almost 9 months now. We premiered January 12th, and here we are about to be in September, and I've loved every minute of it, and you guys have been great, and I come back and I go through all this shit for you guys, and I get way more out of it than I put in, so thank you so much. So that's going to do it for us tonight. You can check us out tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, same channel, for the third part of 4 of our season finale of our Wednesday show, One Shot Wednesdays. We'll be doing part 3 of Assault on Mount Celestia, where the party has ascended to the home of the gods and potentially will supplant them and take seats on the pantheon of Mount Celestia. And then next week we will be back with episode 32. No wizards died today, so good job there. And like everybody said, we are kind of wrapping this up. We do have a bunch of things kind of coming up that we're going to start talking about what is going to be coming next after we finish Rime of the Frostmaiden. What we will tell you right now is not only are we going to all stay together, we're going to be adding a new cast member, and we're going to be adding a brand new setting and a homebrew world as well. Once we finish this, stay tuned to the channel for more information on that. As things get closer, we'll be releasing a trailer talking about the new castmate and a couple of other things that we've got coming up. As always, to everybody who watched, thank you. We try to put on the best Dungeons & Dragons game we can, and hopefully it's entertaining to others. And the fact that people come out and watch this great group just kind of fuck around and play Dungeons & Dragons just means the world to me. So thank you very much to my players. As always, you guys are absolutely amazing, and I love you, and it means the world to me that you come out every week to let me blah, blah, blah at you. And so with that, to everybody who watched tonight, thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night, and if not, we will see you back here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for episode 32 of Twilight Malediction, as we really start to turn towards home and either finish the curse or don't. We'll see. But check back in next week, and we'll find out how it goes. All right? Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye.